Thank you very much. Before I... Does it work like this?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Before I start reading out my final, the final declaration of the delegation visit, let me first take this opportunity to thank Maria Andres Marin and the whole staff of the European Parliament Liaison Office for the hospitality shown to us over the past 2 days and the possibility to make use of the facilities here in the building is very much appreciated. I would also like to thank our interpreters, the technical staff, for all the work they've been doing and for making our meetings here possible in both English and Spanish, and of course to our colleagues and to all advisors of the European Parliament with us these 2 days. It was a very pleasant mission in that sense, with the constructive cooperation of all of us, so thank you. As you already said, we came to Madrid for a 2-day mission. We had 10 members of the European Parliament representing 6 member states, 6 different nationalities, and also 6 different political groups from the European Parliament. So it was a very broad representation, and we've had the chance to talk directly to authorities, people allegedly targeted with spyware, and civil society representatives. Now, these discussions, as they were intended to as well, helped us to gain a better understanding of the current framework for spyware, the reported cases of abuse of spyware, and plans for future legislative reform. We realized that the timing of our mission was challenging for our hosts, with a regional holiday yesterday and a political debate on a motion of censorship ongoing in parallel with our meetings today. So we would like to thank all our interlocutors for taking the time to meet with us. Yesterday we met with Pascual Navarro, State Secretary for European Affairs, who spoke to us about the legislative initiatives the government plans to increase transparency and to align with EU standards with regard to the investigations carried out by the intelligence services. These include the revision of the decades-old law on official secrets and the legal framework governing CNI, the National Intelligence Center. I think broadly we welcome these reforms, which are steps in the right direction, and we'll be interested in seeing how fast they are going to be adopted and implemented, especially given also the upcoming elections. According to the government, the CNI has already faced scrutiny from the government following the spyware scandal, and it remains a question why the changes to the law and the replacement of the CNI president took place if actions of state security bodies were actually legitimate. It would have been useful to hear more about this and to clarify these questions with the responsible minister, Mr. Bolaños himself. We also met with the inquiry committee of the Catalan Parliament, and at this point I would like to say that we're not here to take any position on the Catalan independence movement as a whole, as this is a national matter, but in any case it was very useful to speak directly to people who suspected that they were targeted with spyware. Among them also our meeting with the victims this morning, Mr. Pere Aragonès, President of the Regional Government in Catalonia, Meritxell Serret, who is a Catalan Minister of Foreign Action, yes, and also a colleague from the Council of Barcelona. Overall, it seems that the legal framework in Spain is in line with fundamental rights protection, and several judicial proceedings are ongoing for the cases that should be further investigated, as victims of spyware deserve more information and transparency. And although surveillance can be legal in well-defined circumstances, the targets have the right to access legal remedies. Based on the statements provided by the alleged victims, we got the impression that this has not always been the case, stating that court cases have been dragging on for a long time without action, and that people felt that their concerns had not been investigated impartially and neutrally. One reason being that the results of the investigations have not been disclosed to the public, citing national security reasons. We urge the authorities to expeditiously cooperate with the courts to allow for maximum transparency to create trust in the legal system in which everyone should have the chance to have their claims investigated in an impartial and thorough manner. Now, of course, it appears that spyware use in Spain cannot be attributed to any single instance or group of people. It is not clear who exactly, for instance, spied on members of the Spanish government, although third countries, many factors hint to Morocco, seem plausible suspects. During our meetings, it has not become fully clear why only 18 of the 65 reported cases have been substantiated by a court order as stated by CNI. It remains an open question to our committee how 47 people have received credible alerts of infection without any further evidence of judicial proceedings against them. People who suspect they have been spied upon do deserve transparency and thorough investigations, and in order to provide more clarity and contribute with technical expertise, Europol could be invited and support that proper forensic process will be followed. We take note of the investigations already conducted by the Ombudsman and the High Court, while we acknowledge that there is scrutiny on the use of executive power in Spain. Even so, there are those who feel that individual investigations have proceeded slowly, and we hope that they can conclude it in due course to dispel any remaining doubts. This visit, like our previous visits to Israel, Poland, Greece, Cyprus, and Hungary, has given us food for thought as we prepare our recommendations for what Member States and the EU should do next to protect people's rights to privacy and private communications along with other fundamental rights, and we will continue that work under the leadership of our rapporteur, Sophie in 't Veld. In the EU, we already have vital legal safeguards such as the European Convention on Human Rights, the GDPR and the e-privacy directive, and we need to ensure that these are fully enforced. While we believe that Spain has an independent justice system with sufficient safeguards, at the same time, we see the need to implement new rules or structures that could help prevent abuse cases in the Union and address this new form of intrusive spyware. Thank you for your time. Please follow our work in the coming months as we finalize our findings and recommendations, and I happily pass the floor to our rapporteur, Sophie in 't Veld, for her reflections.
Yes, thank you and good afternoon.